Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I am back with another video and it's well overdue. It's been 3 weeks now. I think today makes 3 weeks since I last did my nails. Now last time you seen my nails, they were long, but I've been doing so much stuff that I had to cut them down because I just couldn't do anything. Or I mean, I could work with them, but it just took, you know, everything just took a little bit longer. So I cut them down and like about a week ago, and then I added the bling. But overall, it's been 3 weeks since I actually did a feel. So I'm gonna be doing a feel today. So of course, the first thing that I have to do is go in there with a pair of nippers to remove the bling. As you guys know, or as you guys can see, it's still really shiny. These are my crystals from Sky Beads. I do have a promo code, so I'll be sure to leave that down below. And as you can see, they're even hard to take off. So I'm gonna go ahead and take all of them off. And as you can see, I'm just using a pair of nippers to do that. And you can find these on Amazon. And you can use any nippers that you have. Alrighty, so I removed the bling. So now I'm gonna go in there with my extra quartz drill bit, and I'm using my Melody Susie Scarlet nail drill. And with this one, I'm gonna use it at 10,000 RPMs, and we're just gonna go in and file down the nails. As you can see, again, it's been 3 weeks and I have no lifting at all whatsoever. You guys know that the last time that I did my set, or actually this set, I did with the Valentino acrylic. So I'm gonna go in and fill it in with the same one because this color is just really pretty and it's just all acrylic. So as always, going around the cuticle area first, going around going from the right side all the way over to the left side. And then just following the rest of the nail as well. And we're going to do that on all of the nails. So basically, we just want to make sure that we prep the nail for, you know, the fill and just removing the top coat from the nails. If you wanted to do a different colored acrylic, then of course you would file down the acrylic a little bit more. But since we're just doing a fill, we just want to make sure that we have no lifting around the cuticle area and that we get rid of the top coat. So I'm going to do that on all of the nails. I'm going to turn on my dust collector, which you guys know that I have the Valentino nail table. So this is the Valentino dust collector, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. Alrighty, so we finished filing this hand. So now we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other hand. And as you guys know, of course, I'm right-handed. So when I'm doing my right hand with my left hand, you just have to be a little bit more careful. But you're basically doing the same thing, just going around the cuticle area, making sure that we get rid of any lifting. As you can see, like that right there is probably just either lifting, I think it's lifting, but it could also be like top coat that got on the cuticle area. So you just want to go ahead and file that away, and you just use the very tip of your drill bit. As always, I'm using the safety extra coarse drill bit. You want to make sure that you use the safety one, especially because it's so coarse that you don't want to file on the skin or on the natural nail with this one. So just gently go in there and go back and forth, making sure that you get as close as you can to that cuticle area. And then once that's nice, and let's see, it's still a little bit right there. But once you finish getting rid of any little lifting that you may have, you just go in and file the rest of the nail to get rid of the shine, well, the top coat from the nail. As you can see, I cut myself just a little bit, so that's why you want to make sure that it's a safety one, because if it wasn't, it would have been way worse. But also remember that lifting, you'll be able to tell because it'll be whitish around the cuticle area. As you can see, now it is completely gone. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the rest. Alrighty, so I finished filing all of my nails with the extra coarse drill bit. So now I'm gonna go in with my cuticle pusher. Remember, you can use any cuticle pusher, whether it's metal like this one, plastic, or wood, as long as it can be thrown away or disinfected. So I'm gonna go in and just push back my cuticles, and this is going to just help with exposing the new growth and help reduce lifting. So just going in and doing this on all of the nails, and this step doesn't really require much. You're literally just pushing back the cuticles. You don't have to sit there and push, like keep going back and forth, because I've seen people do that a lot. You literally just go in and push all around, and that's it. So I'm just doing that on all of the nails. And that's it. So as you can see, really nice and simple. So now we're gonna go in with the sanding band. So as you guys know, I use a 180 sanding band. We're gonna go ahead and switch this one out, put this one on, and then you always wanna use a new sanding band for each client. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this one on. And then with this one, as you guys know, I was using it at 10,000 RPMs with the extra coarse drill bit. With this one, I slow it down to like 5,000. And then of course, it's gonna be different for everyone depending on if you're a beginner or you've been doing nails for a little bit longer. But you wanna just go in and go from the right side of the nail all the way around to the left side. And I do have a video on how to prep the nails for acrylic nails. So I'll be sure to leave that down below because of course it's a lot more detailed. But that's really all you're doing, is just falling from the right side all the way over to the left side. As you guys know, our body produces oils. Those oils happen to be on our natural nail bed. So we just have to make sure that we get rid of them, because if not, the nail or the acrylic will lift up really easily. So we're going to do that on all of the nails, making sure that you get as close as you can around the cuticle area. Alrighty, so we filed this one. As you can see, we removed all of the shine from around the cuticle area. So now same thing for this one. So going around the cuticle area, going from the right side all the way over to the left side. Alrighty, so I finished removing the shine from all of my nails. So now I'm gonna go in and just dust the nails off. And then after this, we're gonna go ahead and just clean my area up. As you can see, the dust collector does collect a lot of the dust, but then there's always more like right here in this area. So I'm gonna go ahead and just clean that up. Alrighty, and I'm gonna go in and fill in my nails with the same acrylic that I used the last time, which was the Valentino Princesita, or Princesita by Valentino. And then I just used it with my Mia's Secret monomer, and it works really well. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill that up. And I always use a small dapping dish because, you know, especially since it's just a feel, I'm not gonna need that much monomer. But even whenever I do a full set, I still only use this small dapping dish. And then if I need more acrylic, then of course I go in and add some more. You don't want to use a big dapping dish because then you're gonna have leftover monomer from your last client. And I just don't like using the same monomer on multiple people. But anyways, now I'm gonna go in with the primer. And for my primer, I'm just going to be using the Young Nail Protein Bond. And as you guys know, we just apply this on the natural nail, and this just helps the acrylic adhere a lot better to the natural nail so we don't get any lifting. But as always, even if you apply a primer and, you know, like you still get lifting, most likely you're probably not prepping the nail correctly or like falling around the cuticle area after you apply the acrylic. So lifting could come from a number of things. I know people always ask me to do a video on how to prevent lifting, but it's a number of things that, you know, that could cause lifting, like I just stated. So it's really not just one thing in particular. But anyways, we just apply the primer. So now we're gonna go in with the acrylic, and as always, I'm using my Alpha brush in a number 10, which I absolutely love. And I don't have a promo code for them, but I'll be sure to leave the link down below for you guys. Remember that when you are looking into buying an acrylic brush, you don't want to go cheap with these because your brush is your most important tool. Trust me, when I first started doing nails, and I'm sure you guys have heard this story before, but when I first started doing nails, I just was buying the brushes from Sally's, and I was literally having to buy a new one every week because the acrylic would get stuck to my brush really easily. Even when I like cleaned it off, it would still get, you know, really messy. So you always want to spend, or not necessarily spend good money, but, you know, just make sure that you get a good brush and don't go cheap with it. So for this fill, as you can see, we don't need that much acrylic because we're literally just filling in the back. So what I like to do is just go in, dip my brush into the monomer, dip it into the monomer, and get a nice size bead. I'm going to place it closer to the cuticle area. And usually for a fill, you only need one bead closer to the back. And then of course, if you need a little bit more somewhere, then that's completely fine, but one should be enough. So once we apply it closer to the cuticle area, we brush it down, or we pat it down, and then brushing it down towards the tip to blend it in with the rest. Just like that. I'm gonna add, as you can see, I have a little gap right here, just a tiny one, so I'm gonna go in with a tiny bead. Remember that when you're going back in to add more acrylic somewhere, make sure that you only apply the product that you need. You don't want to go in with a lot of product because then your nails are going to be super thick or lumpy. And then also whenever you brush the product down, make sure that you're being really gently. You don't want to just brush all of the product down towards the tip. You want to just apply it where you need it. So as you can see, looking at the nail from the side, it doesn't look bad, but I can see that there's a dip right here. So I'm just going to go in and apply a bead right there. Alrighty, just like that. So as you can see, we have a nice apex, a nice thickness at the tip, and that's how it should be. So we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing on the rest. So same thing, dip your brush into the monomer, wipe it off halfway because I want like a medium-sized bead. Dip it into my powder, get my bead, place it closer to the cuticle area. Be really gentle when you place it down. Pat it down, and when I'm patting it down, I'm basically pushing it closer to the cuticle area, making sure that we don't get it on the skin though. And then once it's around the cuticle area, like obviously like on the nail, we brush down towards the tip to blend it in. Remember, you want to get it as close as you can to the cuticle area, but not on the skin. Alrighty, just like that. So as you can see, again, really nice and simple. So just dipping our brush in, wiping it halfway. Remember that when you're working with acrylic, you have to know your liquid to powder ratio. So if you want a small bead, you dip your brush off, or sorry, you dip your brush in and wipe it off completely, and then you dip it into the powder. If you want a medium-sized bead, you dip it in, wipe it off halfway, and then dip it into your powder. And then if you want a large bead, you would dip it in and only wipe the tip off and then dip it into your powder. So the more you wipe off, the less liquid is going to be in your brush, so the less product you're going to be able to get, or powder you're going to be able to get. And the more liquid is in your brush, of course, the bigger the bead you're going to be able to get. So again, for this, for feel, since my nails are pretty short, I'm only doing like a medium-sized bead. So make sure that, you know, you practice that. And I do have a practice sheet for powder to liquid ratio, so I'll be sure to leave that down below for you guys. But same thing, we dip our brush, or sorry, we dipped it in the powder, and then placing it down, getting it as close as you can to the cuticle area, making sure that it doesn't get on the skin, and then brushing it down towards the tip. Alrighty, y'all, so I finished filling this hand in, so I'm gonna go in and do the exact same thing on the other hand. Sometimes the thing that helps me with doing my other hand is I dip my brush into the liquid and get my bead, and then I switch my brush over to the other hand, and that kind of helps a little bit with, you know, grabbing the correct size bead. But same thing, being really gentle, patting the bead down, pushing it as close as you can to that cuticle area, and then brushing it down towards the tip. Alrighty, so I finished applying the acrylic on all of the nails, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw this away. I'm gonna put my brush in a little dapping dish with brush cleaner. I dumped, as you can see, it was just a little bit of monomer left. So that's why I always like to use the small one so I don't waste products. And then I'm gonna use this brush cleaner to clean my brush. I'm gonna let it sit there for like 10 minutes, and then afterwards, once it's done, we're just gonna go in and, you know, just clean it off on a paper towel. But now I'm gonna go in with a 100 nail file, and we're just gonna go in and reshape the nails. So they're kind of like, what shape is this? Not square or coffin, so I guess this would be like a tapered square. So that's what I'm doing. So just going in at a 90-degree angle on the sides, and then a 90-degree angle on the free edge as well. As you can see, just like that. And it really doesn't take much because our nails are already that shape, but we just want to make sure we go in and perfect the shape. So same thing, going in at a 90-degree angle on both sides. And then the free edge at a 90-degree angle as well. Alrighty, so I finished shaping up this hand. So now I'm going to go ahead and do the exact same thing on the other hand. So again, it's a 90-degree angle on the sides and the free edge. Alrighty, so I finished shaping up all of my nails. So now we're going to go in with the fine or extra fine drill bit. Lately, I've just been using this fine ceramic drill bit, and it really just depends on what you feel comfortable using. I honestly feel like the ceramic ones are not as sharp as the carbide ones, so I would recommend this one if you're a beginner. So for this one, I'm going to go in at 10,000 RPMs, and eventually I'm going to turn my dust collector on. But for now, I'm just going to show you how. So I always go from the right side all the way over to the left side, just going back and forth. And basically, you just want to seal the acrylic. You don't want there to be any gaps in between the natural nail and the acrylic, because then if you do, any water or any type of moisture that gets trapped underneath the acrylic is going to cause the acrylic to lift, and your nails are just going to pop off. So again, going from the right side all the way over to the left side. And usually the way that I'm able to tell if I filed good enough is until I'm able to see where the cuticle is, where the natural nail is, and you can barely even see where the natural nail is. You don't want a big gap, of course, because you don't want it to look like you need a fill already. And then where the acrylic is, and that's pretty much it. So again, going all the way from the right side all the way over to the left side, and then after that, just following the rest of the nail to make sure that it's nice and smooth. Alrighty, so same thing for the rest. So going around the cuticle area from the right side all the way over to the left side, going back and forth. And again, I'm using my Melody Susie Scarlet nail drill, and I'm using it at 10,000 RPMs. Remember that, you know, if you're a beginner, you can slow it down and really just practice with your drill and just see what you feel comfortable, like what speed you feel comfortable using it at. So just kind of play with it, and then eventually you're going to get more comfortable as you practice. Alrighty, so I finished filing this hand, so now we're gonna do the exact same thing on the other hand. So same thing, going from the right side all the way over to the left side, just going back and forth, and then also filing the rest of the nail. Alrighty, so after I finish filing all of my nails, I'm gonna go in with the buffer, and this is going to just get rid of any of the scratches left on the nail from the hand file and the e-file. Alrighty, so after I finish buffing all of my nails, I'm gonna go ahead and wash my hands and I'll be right back. Alrighty, so I washed my hands, so now I need to figure out what I want to do, and I'm thinking maybe some foils. I'm gonna go ahead and do it on like one nail to see if I like it. If not, I'll do something different, and I'm kind of feeling either these or even these. Let's see, I think I'm gonna try these just because it's more pink in these. So when I'm doing the foil, I use the foil gel, and this one is by Nail Supply Glamour. I still have not gotten a promo code from them. I know it expired back in March, and I contacted them 3 times and I haven't heard anything from them this last time that I messaged them. So I'm not sure if I'm, gonna even get one anymore. I'm not sure. But if I do, I'll be sure to give it to you guys. But all right, so I think I want to do it maybe on the middle finger and the thumb. So I'm just gonna do a thin coat on those 2 fingers. And remember, it is the foil gel, so it has to be cured. And I usually just cure it for like 60 seconds, and I'm using my Holly Light by Madam Glam. Okay, so I did the foil gel on both of those, and then now, like I said, I'm gonna use my Holly lamp to cure those. All right, so I cured those 2 for 30 seconds. So now I'm gonna go in with the foil, and you just position them however you want them on the nail. So I want those 3 big flowers on here for sure. So after that, you just go in and rub the foil on your nail. Make sure that you rub really, really good. And then just peel it off just like that. I'm gonna, let's see. And then I'm gonna do okay, so I'm not really sure how I feel about it, but I guess I'm just gonna leave it like that. Let's see, I'll probably, of course, add some bling. These are all my crystals from Sky Beads, so I think I want to go in with some pink, of course, and then my AB. Alrighty, so I'm gonna for sure apply some on my index finger just around the cuticle area. I'm gonna go in with one of the pink ones right in the middle, and then I'm gonna do the ABs on the side. Just like that. Same thing on the ring finger. Alrighty, so it really doesn't look that bad, so I'm just gonna leave them like that, and I'm gonna go in with the Hurry Up spray, and that's just gonna help dry the glue a lot faster. Alrighty, just like that. And then next I'm gonna go in with the Madam Glam No White Top Coat, and I'm gonna apply that on all of the nails. Alrighty, so just like that. So then now I'm gonna go ahead and cure this hand for 60 seconds, and then once this one is done, I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing on this other hand. Alrighty, y'all, so this is what they look like. So again, we're gonna go ahead and do the exact same thing on this other hand, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, y'all, so here is the final look. As you can see, they turned out really pretty. Added a little touch of spring with the flowers, and they just, you know, pretty nice and simple. So as always, I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at GetNailed32, and I'll see you guys next time.